Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Entities Campfire. We are here with some amazing teams today. Demonic versus Ominous here on the Dead Dog Saloon. We are playing Wraith. Slamma on the Wraith here. We have optional DC Varsity, Luke, and OC here. OC taking chase at the main building, getting started. Things started right away. Beautiful body block here from Slamma, but OC a little bit wise to it. Now revolting and revolting the window over and over again. Just slowing down the Wraith as much as we possibly can here. We need to get ahead of OC to try to block this window. Unfortunately, we are not quite able to do it, but we are able to now vault the window, and OC will make this mid pallet. Has to win 50s, and unfortunately does not win any of their 50s. Slamma getting their first down. Here we have Luke. Luke taking chase over to the main building, and this generator actually very, very close to the down here. However, only about 50%, so it's going to be a lot for Slamma to be happy about being able to get this hook right next to the generator. Beautiful stuff here from Slamma. We are seeing a bit of an interesting build here. Eruption, Painres, Bamboozle, and Wretched Fate. Wretched Fate, I consider a very, very strong perk just because you can basically shut down one survivor from being able to do generators effectively. It makes their efficiency just so much more less, and so, you know, when it actually does take into effect, it's not typically the survivor that you always want to chase. We are seeing an FTP coming in from Varsity, making sure OC lasts as long as possible here, and Slamma going to continue chase onto OC. OC playing this lovely TNL wall very, very well. Uncloak coming in from Slamma, needs to win a 50-50, and unfortunately, OC will actually make a pallet here by just holding W. Beautiful stuff from OC, and will actually also make this pallet here. No! Beautiful swing through the pallet from Slamma, faking out the bell here. Beautiful stuff from Slamma. Has to now win this loop here, and beautiful get stuff again from Slamma, winning every single mind game here, and that's going to be second hook for OC. Slamma showing his dominance on the killer side here. Wraith, not typically a very strong killer, you know, can get downs pretty quickly if you know what you're doing, and Slamma showing just how well that can be achieved here. Heading back over to the generator that was very, very highly progressed, being doubled out. However, the survivors realizing they're not really going to get much for it, and it looks like DC is just going to be taking a tag. Yeah, Ultra DC taking a tag here. Wants to go back to be able to kick that generator, get as much regression on it as possible before the unhook onto OC happens. I think we're going to be accepting that this generator is going to pop eventually, but if we can stall it for as long as possible, you'd love to see it. 3 generators remaining, and OC already second hook. This is a very, very good start for our killer player, and we already see both of the survivors over here trying to run as long as they possibly can, distract while OC gets unhooked. We saw the generator at Gallows getting done in the meantime, and OC will be getting unhooked here as OC now wants to, I was going to say, DC wants to get slugged here, or is going to get slugged here, and Slamma wants to head back to the hook to try to find OC as quickly as possible. Reset, it doesn't look like it's going to be able to happen. Uncloak coming in. Can we find OC here? We are not able to find OC, but only oh my god, OnlyFans. Loop actually taking tag here, and we're continuing chase on to OC here at the shack. And it looks like OC's just going to wait out the Wailing Bell, dropping the shack at the last minute, and now we have to play. No, we're actually able to hold W to this pretty strong tile here. A couple 50-50s need to be won by OC here. Oh, unfortunate stuff from Slamma, not quite able to get the hit through the pallet, and his OC is now going to be able to make the tent loop here. This pretty long wall has to instantly break this pallet. OC still has quite a bit of stuff to play onto this side of the map here. Beautiful stuff from OC, and OC going to continue to no, unfortunate stuff from OC, vaulting into our killer player here. Just not quite able to read Slamma's movements effectively. A bit of mistakes on both sides here, but unfortunately, it's going to work out in Slamma's favor. And the generator in the distance going to be popped as well. Wretched Fate is still in effect, so optional DC is going to have a lot to be not liking here about their situation. We are seeing scratch marks here on the main building, not much progress, and there is optional DC, so we know exactly who was working that generator. Now the question is this the chase that you actually want to take, given it is Wretched Fate? You might just play for a tag and leave, honestly. Breaking this pallet is Slamma, and it looks like we're going to be seeing a tag here. There's not much optional DC can do about this tag here, as we see Wretched Fate getting cleansed in the distance. Beautiful stuff from our survivor players here, giving optional DC some more options for movements in this game. And we are seeing the generator No, it's actually not being worked here. So it looks like our survivors are going to try to stealth out Slama's movements here, as we are seeing scratch marks here over by the water tower. Oh, unfortunate stuff here from Slama, not quite able to get the down onto Loop. However, resources on the map are being dwindled slowly but surely. Beautiful stuff from Slama. And the generator over off in the distance in the corner of the map here is being progressed here, so we don't know which survivor was around here. There it is, it's Varsity. Varsity now having to play some 50-50s, playing around this loop very, very effectively. Slama going to be taking his distance on to Varsity, and Varsity unfortunately is just going to be taking a tag. Not much Varsity can do about that. Varsity heading back over to the corner of the map here. You have to imagine optional DC and Loop are just continuing to progress the generators on the bottom side of the map here, getting as much progress as possible. A stun onto Slama will mean some distance here for Varsity, but after that, there isn't too much Varsity can do here. Has to win some chat 50-50s here, and will actually do so. Beautiful stuff here from Varsity, and that is going to cause Slama to want to leave. Great stuff here. We see main building being progressed ever so much. Optional DC on that main building, and main building very, very close to popping as well while that is being happened, or while that is happening, I apologize. Now, if you can get it down onto optional DC very, very quickly, you'll cause Eruption, and Eruption will actually mean really good business for Slama. And there's nothing really here on this side of the map here. Optional DC now having to play some 50-50s is going to maybe, no, unfortunately, is going to lose that one. That means Eruption going to be happening on to the generator in the corner as well as the generator in main building. So we know where Varsity is, and we know, we can assume where Loop is, honestly. As we see, Varsity actually running away from that generator. Very, very smart stuff from Varsity. Does not want to get caught off guard. And Slama actually going to try to maybe go for Varsity here. Slama, once again, just showing his dominance on the killer side. And there is Loop. Can Loop actually make this window? No, Loop cannot make the window. Beautiful stuff from Slama. If we can find Varsity right away, this is looking to be a 4K2. There is Varsity. Varsity needs to get this unhooked, but once that happens, there's not much else for optional DC to do here. We're going to be seeing a down onto Varsity here, and now the final chase of the game, assuming optional DC can pick up Loop, or cannot pick up Loop, into the main building we go. We are going to be taking the window at the very front. No, actually, we're just going to be going around. Interesting stuff here from DC. Do we want to try to take the window? No, unfortunately, it's not going to work out, and that is going to be, barring any sort of miracle perk that we do not allow here on the Survivor side against the Wraith, a 4K with 2 generators remaining. Beautiful, beautiful stuff here from Slama. 12 hook stages in total, and it's gonna be a very, very difficult result to beat for Ominous here. Now, I believe we heard Varsity actually, yeah, I was gonna say, oh, that's Loop actually. We heard Loop dropping down the main building here. Slama, once again, the Wraith seems to be a very, very strong set for Slama. Just won every single pallet 50 and won every single loop very, very effectively. Was able to mind game our Survivor players very, very well the entire time. And I have to say, very, very difficult result for Ominous. 4K2 is not a result you see on Wraith. 4K1 is pretty standard, you know. You expect, you do expect outs a lot on the Wraith, but Wraith can be quite strong in the right hands. And Slama showing why Wraith is a very, very strong set for Demonic. As there is Varsity, and the finding of Varsity will mean that this is a 4K2. Beautiful, beautiful stuff here for Demonic. When we come back, it will be Ominous's Wraith against Demonic's Survivors. Stay tuned, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dead Dog Saloon here. This time, Varsity on the killer side playing the Wraith against Team Demonic, Garafa, Deco, Slamma, and Juggernaut. Very, very strong roster here. As we see Deco already taking chase in the main building here. And we also see Garafa taking chase at the window here. Is actually going to be able to make this middle pallet. Beautiful stuff here from Garafa. Ooh, and a swing and a miss coming in from Varsity. That's going to buy a little bit of time here for Garafa, as Garafa's going to be playing around this filler pallet here. 150-50, but unfortunately Garafa will be taking tag here. Great stuff from Varsity to get that first tag. However, I don't know if Varsity wants to continue that chase. No, Varsity wants to leave here because a 4K2 win con is what we're playing for here. So we need to make sure we are spreading out our injuries and making sure that these downs later on are going to be coming in a timely fashion. A bit of a different build here coming in from Varsity. We see Pain Res, Bamboozle, Corrupt. So 3 similar perks. However, we're also seeing Sloppy Butcher and a beautiful down here from Varsity onto Jug. Amazing stuff here. Dying on that Shat pallet, however, but that will be a Pain Resonance hook. And probably, if that is a Pain Resonance hook in the middle of the map here, you would love to see it. We also hear Garafa on the main building here. Pain Resonance coming through. However, didn't actually hit the main building when it hit the back building here, with a little bit of progress on it to it as well. We actually do see Deco here on this generator here. Has to win a 50-50. It will, unfortunately, for Varsity get the sun. Residual Manifest coming in from Deco with a flashlight. Beautiful stuff here from Deco. You still have this middle pallet here to play. Looks like we're seeing a bit of a enemies necessary play here. Unfortunately, not able to block the window is Varsity, taking the window, applying Bamboozle to it. We're not going to continue chase onto this, however. We want to protect this middle hook as long as we possibly can. Main building is going to pop, so Garafa will have that generator. Beautiful stuff here from Garafa. As, oh, it looks like that was actually Slamma. Garafa might have repositioned here, unless that was a doubling out of the main building. If it was, that might have actually been very smart play from Team Demonic here. Slamma now going to be activating Chase, but Varsity not interested in continuing it. We see Deco and Slamma here coming in for the double save onto Jug. Now, if you want a chance of being able to continue, or if you want to be able to win this, and you know, make it a 4K1, you cannot allow Jug to go second here, but it looks like Jug will actually go second here. Garafa continuing to work generators, and we do actually see this back generator being progressed a little bit here by Slamma. Beautiful stuff here from Demonic, just playing out their generators, making sure that they're getting as much progress as possible. Jug will be going second here, and there is Slamma having to win yet another 50-50 here at this pallet. Swing and a miss, unfortunately, for Varsity, and a stun for Slamma. Slamma going to be getting away now. Jug still on this hook. This is a really unfortunate hook to be having if you are Team Demonic here, but the water tower will be completed. Beautiful stuff from Garafa. 3 generators remaining now. We're 1 generator away from the Tycon, as Jug does get pulled. Slamma taking a tag for it, however, and Jug going to be going into the main building. Has to last as long as he possibly can. FTP coming in from Deco. Beautiful stuff from Team Demonic here. Great team coordination. Has to win a pallet 50 here, but unfortunately will be taking a tag for it, as Jug now wants to hold forward over to the shack here. We have some strong loops to play, and we're not going to let them go to waste here. Vaulting the window is Jug. Bamboozle coming in. Another vault through the pallet as well. But now we have the best pallet in the game to play. Has to win that beautiful stun, and does actually get it back. Oh my god, Gallows is actually very close to popping as well. And now we have this trailer over here to play. Beautiful stuff here from Jug, lasting as long as possible. Now going to the corner generator. Another generator pops in the distance as well. That is Gallows. That'll be 2 generators remaining. The tie condition has been met. Deco taking a down for Jug, and Varsity just gonna have to accept it. Probably play into Pain Res here to stall as much as the generators as possible. But unfortunately, it's a bit too late, as Slamma is able to pop the final gen for the win condition for Demonic. This first set is going to Team Demonic. Beautiful stuff here from Team Demonic here, showing their generator efficiency and teamwork. And there's Jug continuing chase. Varsity going to look, has to play this 50-50 as well. But a beautiful stun coming in from Jug being able to cap that pallet and get the stun there. Amazing, amazing stuff here. Vaulting that window, lasting as long as possible. Jumping down here to this long wall tile. This trailer tile. Now going to the corner. This is basically like the palette of the map where players basically just accept that they're going to be dying. So, you know, Jug going to this corner means that he's accepting that he's accepting death here. But, you know, dying in the corner of the map here, definitely a good thing for Team Demonic here, as Jug will finally be out of the game. Resets coming in from our Survivor players here. Through Sloppy Butcher as well. It's going to be very, very slow here. Slamma wants to play as slow as possible. You see some amazing stuff here. I want to spectate the Survivors here to show you a bit of what their plan is. So right now they're playing it very, very slow. Slamma is not getting on those generators immediately, just because we want to make sure that we get this reset out in a timely fashion. And we want to make sure that we have eyes on the killer, right? Because Wraith is a semi-stealth killer, if not full stealth killer. So, you know, having full eyes on our killer player is very, very important. And now we see Slamma now going to the generator as soon as the call was made, that eyes have been had, and Garafa is the one making that call. Taking a tag is Garafa, heading over to the water tower right now. Vaulting through the window is Garafa. Garafa now having to play the water tower. However, looks like actually Varsity wants to leave because we see Deco working the main building. However, meanwhile, Slamma is just working that corner generator. And unfortunately, Bamboozle will mean that Garafa will be going down here. No, it looks like we're able to make that pallet. Amazing stuff here from Garafa. A pallet stun as well. Enemy's necessary play coming in to maybe stall a bit of time here. Makes the window. Bamboozle running out just at the right time. Has to vault it to reapply it. And now we're going back to the pallet. No, we're actually playing the water tower. A bit of a stronger loop here for Garafa here. Dropping it now. Has to win a 50-50, but unfortunately just isn't able to do so. Enemy's necessary. Very, very good at faking out the killer if the killer is not watching you. But unfortunately, it's just not going to work. And now Slamma wants to play it very, very safely. Walking away. Making sure that we're not giving much info to our killer player here. This generator was very, very, you know, progressed quite a bit. And Garafa going to be unhooked immediately. Now, this instant unhook will cause Varsity to want to go back, but it will also mean that Garafa will want to head back onto that generator, right? So, again, we're waiting for the call, and there's the call right now. Garafa will be heading back onto that generator while the chase onto, or Slamma will be heading back onto the generator while the chase on Garafa is happening. But unfortunately, Garafa just going to go instantly down. Very, very unfortunate stuff here. Not many resources left for Team Demonic to use here, but it was all worth it to allow for the win condition. The pickup with Boil Over coming through, but a flashlight through the water tower from Deco. Amazing stuff from Team Demonic. As Varsity is now going to leave Residual Manifest, but it's not going to mean too much because we do know where the generator was. We're heading over to the generator that Slamma was working. Slamma now taking chase with Varsity, immediately dropping that pallet, wants to last as long as possible. Now going over to the filler pallet by the trailer here. Now looping around, but sadly is getting stuck on the cactus. It will mean a tag here for Slamma, and a drop of the pallet as well, stunning Varsity a little bit, making him last a little bit longer. Now you do actually make the shack pallet here, but you're gonna block it just a little bit, waiting. But a beautiful stun here from Slamma will mean a bit of distance as we're heading over to yet another filler pallet here. And it looks like Varsity just wants to lead. Deco slowly but surely working this bottom generator here. A doubling of it as well will unfortunately not be a down here. Or it will be a down here. Oh, but Garafa vaulting the window fast vault. Beautiful stuff here from Garafa. And another vault here from Garafa as well. I have a feeling this generator is about to get popped, and a beautiful pop here as well from Deco. A 0 generators remaining. Now all that's left for Team Demonic is to get out of this trial. Garafa taking chase at the corner of the map here, this corner pallet. Swinging through it is Varsity, but Garafa not interested in playing Varsity's games here. Any means necessary play, maybe to try to fake out for Varsity here. Another enemy's necessary play, but unfortunately it's just not gonna work. Garafa, amazing stuff here, has to win another 50-50 and does win it. Wins another one, wins another one, wins another one. Garafa, amazing stuff here as the exit gate at the back is gonna be done. Garafa will just not be dying. Garafa showing his dominance on these 50-50s, and here comes Deco to take a body block. Amazing stuff here from Team Demonic, and amazing looping from Garafa at that. Varsity needs to make sure that Garafa has no means of escape here, and so we're going to be cutting Garafa off, winning that tile, winning that window. Varsity now going to be cloaking yet again. Deco trying to get Garafa out of this trial. Slow vaulting through the window. Bamboozle play coming through. Here's Deco for the body block. Slamma unfortunately injured. Cannot help. Just has to wait and hope Deco is able to effectively take that body block. And there's Deco effectively taking the body block. This is going to mean every single survivor of Demonic is getting out. Or besides Juggernaut, is getting out of this trial. Beautiful, beautiful plays from Garafa. Wow, I have never seen anyone play that corner palette as effectively as Garafa did. When we come back, we will be having the Houndmaster, Team Ominous, killing first. Stay tuned, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Enemies Campfire. We are here on the Coal Tower with the Houndmaster. Varsity playing the Houndmaster against Deco, Slamma, Garafa, and Juggernaut. The same roster as last time. First chase onto Garafa. Has to try to swing through this God Rock here, but unfortunately Garafa going to be getting the stun onto Varsity. Beautiful stuff here from Garafa, sending Dog over to the other side of the map here. Wants to get there as quickly as possible as we see Deco running away over to the top of the map here. Wants to try to play the min, building the seawall here for Deco to play.
Loyal one.
And Deco actually just going to be playing the filler over at 1 here. Doesn't want to drop this pallet, but unfortunately a swing through the pallet. Varsity understands his killer very, very well here. And he knows that he is able to actually swing through that, and Deco, unfortunately, just going to be going down. Varsity showing his dominance on the Houndmaster instantly. Beautiful, beautiful stuff here from Varsity. Deco taking the first down. Pain Resonance right by this one pallet here. Beautiful, beautiful stuff from Varsity. And we're just going to be heading straight back over to the generator that we understand is really doing the rest, breaking main building. Now we're doing a bit of renovations. Want to make sure that this area is easier for us to loop later on in the trial. As we hear a little bit of progress coming through onto this generator over here by 3. Kicking it here, we're going to be applying Dragon's Grip. Speaking of which, we're actually seeing a very interesting build here. We're seeing Dragon's Grip, Wretched Fate, Corrupt, and Pain Resonance. Interesting is Dragon's Grip more than anything, because Dragon's Grip, you know, can really turn the tides in the favor of the Houndmaster, considering how, I won't say easy, but how effective Houndmaster is at being able to get first tags here with the use of the dog. Now we're just patrolling around the top of the map here. Slamma, Garafa, and Jug are just going to be working generators at the bottom, but you have to imagine someone is probably stealthing for this unhook right now, or maybe they're just planning on letting Deco go to second stage here. Yeah, it looks like we're just planning on letting Deco go to second stage. Now, if you're Team Demonic, this might actually be the correct play, just because, you know, you're able to... Oh, actually, we're actually seeing something very interesting here. So, Slamma actually had friendly competition, so he wanted to 99 that generator and let Garafa come back to touch it, so that we can apply friendly competition as well. So, we're actually seeing some very good teamwork here. That's going to mean that Garafa is 5% faster on these generators here for a little bit of time. And we are seeing a rotation for the unhook here at main building, as we do see the killer instinct of, I believe that is Garafa here. Yep, there's Garafa taking the tag with the dog. Beautiful, beautiful stuff here from Varsity. And it is going to mean a tag here for Garafa. No, it's not! Some great, great stuff here from Team Demonic. Good team coordination here. A swing through Deco will mean a tag for Slamma. However, we want to go after Deco. One generator at the bottom is still being progressed. Jug is working that generator very, very diligently as the Tori Kane here, heading over to the 5 side of the map here. We do see Deco with our killer instinct as well as with the dog here, so we are a little bit faster. Getting to its Ormond tile, and Deco dropping it instantly, wants to loop it as long as possible. Sending the dog is Deco through the pallet, but Varsity making a little bit of a misplay with the dog swinging through, but unfortunately Deco is just going to be able to make it to the window. Here comes Garafa. Garafa eating the dog for Deco. Amazing, amazing stuff here from Team Demonic. Again, showing their amazing team coordination as we're heading over to the shack here. Sending the dog. Beautiful dodge here from Deco. And it will mean Deco is able to make the shack pallet, dropping it instantly. And Varsity has no choice but to break it as we continue chase over to the bottom side of the map here. Is there anything for us to use? Deco says no, sadly. And it looks like Deco is just going to be going down here. Unfortunately, it's just nothing burger onto this side of the map here. Deco understands that, and it's just going to be going to the point. Very, very good wherewithal from Deco to understand when we're dead and just going to the corner of the map here. And now main building will pop for that. No pain resonance to speak of here. Meaning one generator will be remaining with 3 survivors.
Fire.
Beautiful stuff here from Team Demonic as we're heading over to the 3 side of the map here. However, we know that there is no progress over here. Varsity obviously does not know that. One being having a little bit of progress here. However, it's not really worth a kick yet because Eruption is not a thing for us. So we want to head over to 5 now. If you are Varsity, you might be wanting to play into Dragon's Grip a little bit here. Slamma and Garafa will be resetting just in a minute. And that will mean some easier downs. Or with Dragon's Grip, but it will also mean, it will mean some more harder downs for Varsity here, which is why you probably want to play into Dragon's Grip. As we see the reset is happening over on the 11 corner, there's Jug now taking chase away, but Varsity does not seem interested in actually committing to that. We're now kicking the 1 generator here, applying Dragon's Grip to it. Now, I don't remember if our survivors actually know it's Dragon's Grip or not. If they do, that'll change a little bit here. And there comes the healing on the 11th side of the map here. As we're continuing to patrol these generators a little bit. Now, we do know that the survivors are at the back here, but does Varsity know that? Varsity might be sniffing them out, maybe seeing if we can find a stealth here. Varsity heading up the main building, but unfortunately will not find a stealth. Dragon's Grip still no longer in effect here, apologies. As we do see, Garafa and Jug running away now. Waiting out the movement from Garafa, but Garafa playing behind that generator very, very effectively. It's not going to be a dog tag, and it's going to force Varsity away here. Slama, you have to imagine, is just working the generator at the top. Yep, was, but we see the killer's rotation here onto Slama. Slama just going to be taking as much distance as possible, knows that the killer is a lot faster with that dog. As we are now back at the one side of the map here, want to reapply Dragon's Grip, making sure that this generator is under wraps as we're sending Dog over to the 5 side of the map here, going immediately trying to stop any progress happening on it. This is an interesting 3-gen, not one that you typically see here on the Cold Tower. As we hear Dragon's Grip coming through, now the call will be made, if it wasn't before, that Dragon's Grip is in effect here. Slama now taking chase at the bottom side, at the top side of the map here. Scratch marks coming through, and here is a hill. You have to imagine Slama is the one with balance. Slama who's sending Dog, trying to maybe preempt Slama's movements here, but Slama very, very patient. And is going to be able to... Oh, actually, we don't have much to play here, so we have no choice but to play this hamburger tile, or this Burger King tile. And unfortunately, that will mean a down onto Slama. Beautiful stuff here from Varsity, playing Dragon's Grip very, very effectively, but because these generators are being progressed slowly but surely, you have to imagine 5 is the one being progressed. Varsity wants to just leave instantly. Very, very close to popping. They might just be committing to this generator. They are committing to this generator, and it will be a pop. Amazing, amazing stuff here from Team Demonic here. 0 generators remaining, and then we are taking chase onto Jug, trying to get this down as quickly as possible, but Jug playing it very, very effectively. Now will make this God Rock here, and we'll be just dropping it. Varsity now wants to play around this tile, but unfortunately will not be going down here. Beautiful stuff here from Jug as we're now taking chase at the shack. Fakes the shack window and actually is able to make it back around to the God Pallet as Slama gets picked up in the distance. Gate's going to be worked on just in a second. Yep, Slama getting on the gate at the top side of the map here. Jug taking a beautiful chase here into the middle of the map here. If a body block can come through for Jug, this will be only 3 stages, and here is Garafa wanting to do exactly that. And a beautiful, beautiful dog from... Oh, unfortunate stuff. Garafa is not able to get around to Jug in time to get rid of the dog. And it will mean that Jug is going down here, sadly. And we're picking up Jug. You have to imagine, Team Demonic could go for this. Now, no, it looks like they're just going to be leaving, so this will be a 2K with 6 stages. From Team Ominous. Beautiful stuff here. This is actually a pretty standard result here for the Houndmaster. The Houndmaster can get a 2K6 pretty effectively. But anything more than that, 2K6, 2K8, anything more than that is a very, very good result. And this is a good result for Varsity here. Team Demonic. Not going to be the easiest win con ever, but certainly not going to be difficult or impossible by any means. And when we come back, we will see just how well they can play into it. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second round of the second set here on the Entities Campfire. We're back on the Cold Tower with Slamma, this time on the Houndmaster, Varsity DC, OC, and Loop here. Continuing chase on to Varsity is Slamma. Unfortunately, not going to quite get the dog to connect to Varsity, but will get a regular tag. Good zoning here from Slamma to make sure that Varsity is not able to make that main building window, dropping the card filler pallet immediately. Wants to last as long as possible, as we're sending Dog now to go a little bit faster here, and it will actually meet a tag onto Loop as well. We're spreading out injuries very effectively. Slamma now taking chase onto Loop here. Beautiful stuff here. And I believe we're actually, what perk was that made Loop just a little bit faster? That was Lithe. Okay, so we're actually able to make the shack here. Great stuff from Loop. Wants to just probably drop the shack pallet, last as long as possible. Yep, Loop dropping the shack pallet now. Continuing chase on to Loop at the bottom side of the map. Are these generators being progressed very quickly here as well? That gen over by the 5 is being doubled out here. Sending Dog through the window to try to maybe catch Loop off, but unfortunately Slamma is not going to quite be able to connect here as we're continuing chase on to Loop here. Beautiful stuff here from Loop, playing this tile very effectively. It's actually just going to be, are we holding W? No, we're vaulting into the killer's face. Very unfortunate stuff here from Loop. Not quite able to read Slamma's movements as effectively as you would have liked here. Still, this is a very good chase with one hook only. With one generator popping, so you know, Team Ominous still has a lot to be thankful for here. We see only one generator being progressed at this current moment, as we actually will see DC here in the corner by the boxes here. Beautiful sniffing out by Slamma. You have to assume here maybe the dog did a bit of sniffing out here for Slamma. Vaulting through the window is Slamma, continuing chase onto DC here. DC playing this pallet very well, but it looks like DC will just be going down here. I don't know if we can, no, we are actually able to drop the pallet on the dog's face here. Beautiful stuff here from DC, but I don't know if we can make this. No, we actually can make it. Beautiful stuff from DC, just winning every single one of these pallets, sending the dog, and we actually do get Loop here with that, but DC here to save Loop's day, making sure that she's not taking a tag very effectively. Loop will now be taking that tag, and now we are pivoting targets to Loop, as that is the person that we were trying to tunnel out here. Playing this bottom tile very effectively. Quite a few things at the bottom side of the map here for us to use here. We want to try to, unfortunately, no, we don't quite get a dog hit here, but Loop is able to, oh no, actually no, Slamma is able to actually get the hit with the dog. Beautiful stuff here from Slamma, and we're seeing a second hit here on to Loop. Amazing plays coming in from Slamma, but with 3 generators remaining, progress could be heightened a little bit here. DC now on a generator, 25% progress here. It was the 5 generator, kicking it very quickly to apply Eruption. Not different kind of build here. We're seeing Wretched Fate, Pain Res, Corrupt, and Eruption here, so a bit more emphasis on the gen regression itself here. As we want to now head back to the hook here. FTP coming in from OC, so that will mean Loop is able to last just a little bit longer here. You know, making sure that this tunnel out doesn't die too soon is exactly what you need if you're these survivors. And there's Varsity. Varsity is not our Death Hook survivor, but is a survivor that you can chase here. Wants to send the dog over, but unfortunately is not able to find, Snug is not able to find Varsity there. Loop, you have to imagine, is stealthing out now and does not want to get found. Now we're playing for a 6-stage result, so if you can get to that, if you can avoid a tunnel out onto Loop with 2 generators remaining, even 3, that is exactly what you want here, as both survivors are going to be able to vault into the main building here. Houndmaster just going to be trailing them as OC and DC. You want to apply Eruption here more than anything now, because he wants to control these generators. You have a bit of a seawall here. DC going to be doing his very best to win these, win the seawall, and is actually going to be able to do so very well. Good stuff from DC. DC now running to the bottom side of the map here, sending Snug, and it is going to mean a catch with the dog. Beautiful stuff here from Slammer. Eruption applied, and there's OC. 3 stages, 2 freshes. We see someone working that 1 generator over there. Pain Resonance will apply to it, however, so it is not going to pop. You have to imagine it's that generator. And there is our tunnel out in loop. This is the chase that you want to take here, because if you can get Loop out of the game with 2 generators remaining, that is exactly what you will want to find here. Loop playing that pallet very, very effectively, understands the Houndmaster's kit very, very well, playing light into the shaft here as well. Slammer now has no choice but to break this God Rock, as it is a very effective loop, even against the Houndmaster here, who is very good at playing around pallets. Another generator in the distance popping. That 1 generator now very, very close to popping. Loop is heading straight for it, so you have to imagine that we are reading just how much time we have to make it there. Slammer wants to get sped up a little bit to make sure we're making the main building here, and I don't know if we make that. We do actually not make that, so Loop is taking a tag here, and we're applying Eruption to this 1 generator. This is a very good gen spread for our survivors here. If they can actually effectively... Ooh, but we're seeing injuries on every single survivor here. Not the best thing to see here with 2 generators remaining here. You want to find OC if you possibly can. But it looks like we're just heading back to the generator here, because we want to shut down, make sure this generator regresses effectively. Because it is the highest progress right now. If you are Slammer... You might be heading to the bottom side of the map here, yeah, because they're probably doubling it out. No resets are happening right now, so you have to imagine that survivors are just wanting to progress this generator. 5 generator, very, very close to popping. Our survivors are very, very close to achieving their win condition. Balanced landing coming through here. Slammer, unfortunately... No, Slammer actually is going to be able to get this down. 1 will be hit with Eruption here. And now there is Loop. Loop, unfortunately, will not be taking a tag with that dog. 1 generator very, very close to popping. You have to just kick it and then maybe go over to 1 here. No, it looks like... Yeah, we're just heading over to 1 here, so we want to control these generators. There is Varsity. Varsity now taking chase at the back of the map here. We have this very, very strong car pallet to play here. Unfortunately, we will not be making this window. Snug couldn't come back fast enough. Sending dog here. We need it down quickly, but unfortunately we will not be finding it. Varsity continuing this chase here. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Needs to play this window. Beautiful stuff here from Slammer. Oh no, but unfortunately a bit of a misplay here. As now we can no longer chase. Yeah, we can no longer chase Varsity. We need to control the generator. We want to continue chase with Varsity, actually. We have 3 stages on the map with 2 freshes, so if you can find Varsity here and get it down on him very, very quickly, that's what you need. But that generator is now just being progressed. And you have to imagine it's very, very close to popping, as Luke will be heading back onto the generator here. Unfortunate stuff here. Slammer's not able to get this down, and that will probably mean the 1 generator just pops. You need this down now. Unfortunately, and that will be Adrenaline as well coming in for Team Ominous. Beautiful, beautiful stuff here. And a tag onto Varsity. This could still be possible for Slammer if Slammer's able to control these gates. But here comes our team to take body block hits, and we're heading over to 5. That generator is already open. All of our survivors will be getting out of this gate here. Beautiful, beautiful stuff from Team Ominous. And we are seeing 3 stages only with 2 freshes. Beautiful stuff from Team Ominous. When we come back, we will be going to our tiebreaker set, the Demogorgon. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the final set here of Demonic versus Ominous here. We have the Demogorgon here back on the Coal Tower. Slamma on the Demogorgon. Varsity OC only loop, apparently. And optional DC for Team Ominous here. Slamma, the residential killer player for Team Demonic here. Setting up our portals. And we actually are seeing a very interesting build here. Well, I say interesting, you actually expect this build in the Demogorgon. So we're seeing Corrupt, Pain Res, Eruption, and Forced Hesitation. Now, Forced Hesitation can be very, very effective on the Demogorgon, a killer that can recover from his power quite quickly. And it can also prevent anyone from making much in the long run. Demogorgon also eats away at resources very, very quickly if you know what you're doing. So, to see this on the Demogorgon is not at all something that is rare. As we are seeing, I believe, Varsity, or is that DC? That is Varsity. Varsity now taking chase at the 10 side of the map here, has to play this Burger King tile. We are not seeing any sort of balanced landing play coming in from Varsity here, so this will just be a tag. But still, very, very good stuff from Slamma. Being patient, using his power when he doesn't need to. As we're dropping the car pallet, we're going to break that pallet immediately. And we're continuing chase on the 2 side of the map here into the Corrupt side. The ornament tile will also be dropped here. Varsity does not want to take any chances against Slamma. Making sure that we are using our resources effectively. And we have this one pallet as well, but after that, not much left for Varsity to play in. It looks like Varsity will just be going down here. So, beautiful stuff here from Slamma. 1 down 4 generator pops here is something that you don't necessarily want to see on the Demogorgon, but it can be possible. The Demogorgon can be quite a lethal killer. The Shred eating through pallets very, very quickly, and the fact that he can recover from it very, very quickly as well means that he can get tags very, very easily. Heading back over to the 10 side of the map here, we are seeing generators being progressed, 2 of them to be exact, and there is OC now taking chase against Slamma. Dropping the God pallet. However, again, the recovery time. Ooh, but we do actually have a pallet here as we are getting a stun. So this side of the map here is going to be shut down very, very effectively. Not many resources to use here, but because of how many gens are popping for it, you don't necessarily hate using resources when we're going to be taking chase to the bottom side of the map anyway, once this unhook comes in. Varsity now continuing chase onto the middle of the map here. Loop needs to come in and help Varsity because he will not be able to make this shot. We're a little bit too presumptuous on that Shred there. Varsity will now be able to make Shat because of it, trying to mind game Shat. But Varsity actually getting a little bit thrown off here with the jet spots here. Can we actually make this window? No, Slamma not reading Varsity's movements as effectively as he'd like. And Shat will be dropped here. Loop is here as well to help Varsity get away and make as many resources as possible. The call was made, however, it looks like that Varsity will be able to make this. We are not playing that 4 lane. Oh, we are playing that 4 lane, but unfortunately it looks like, yeah, Varsity will be taking the round. Beautiful stuff here from Slamma. Scratch marks coming in from this side of the map here. We are a little bit scared of what that would mean. But it looks like it doesn't really matter too much as Varsity will now be picked up. And we're going to be dragging him to the top of the map here. As we now, for 2 reasons, right? Because you, not only this is where your gen spread is, so you want to be able to camp it and patrol the generators. But also because you have dwindled a lot of resources on this side of the map. So even if Varsity does get unhooked, it can be a very, very quick chase thereafter. If you're Team Ominous here, you might be looking to pull Varsity sooner rather than later, just to get him away from this side of the map. And then you might have someone else come in to play for maybe an FTP, maybe for a body block, anything to allow Varsity to make the bottom side of the map again, as we are seeing OC play this 4 lane here. Beautiful stuff from Slamma, is able to get a wonderful tag here. FTP, as I said, coming in onto Varsity. And there is DC now. Slamma actually wants to chase DC. We don't know where Varsity went, unfortunately. Might have taken a little bit too deep of a chase onto OC here. It might be worth it in the long run, just getting that tag, you know. But DC will actually be going down here. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. I mean, Force Hesitation activating on anyone who might be nearby, but I don't think anyone is nearby. Meanwhile, doubling up of the log generator here. Varsity has to be very, very careful. Pain Resonance, can it come through in time? A tag onto DC, but will it mean we actually do make that? Okay, so Pain Resonance will happen, but unfortunately not on the generator you necessarily want it to be on. Portal coming through. Beautiful, beautiful stuff here from Team Ominous here. Generator efficiency is going up, and Varsity still alive. We don't have a tunnel out yet. As now we are kicking the log generator, applying eruption. We want to get a gen control here. Placing down a portal, bit for information, as well as map traversal. Faking our teleport. That could actually be a purposeful play from Slamma to maybe fake out the survivors a little bit here. As there is Varsity, that's our tunnel out. But it looks like we're actually going for DC here. Now, optional DC might actually just be a better chase here, because getting Varsity out of this game in a timely fashion to be able to stop all the generators from popping isn't necessarily going to be possible here. Optional DC now has his Burger King tile to play. We'll be check spotting it and might be able to do so effectively. Yep, it's actually going to make the window. Beautiful stuff here from optional DC, and that's going to force Slamma to have to leave, as we do see this log generator being doubled here. There's OC. OC playing this 4 lane now, has to try to win 50-50 at it, but is unfortunately not going to win it. OC will be going down, applying Eruption as well, and that'll be a pickup for Pain Resonance. Great stuff from Slamma. Pain Resonance on that logs generator, but it will also mean that the regression, or that the entity's clause will start to come in, telling the killer, listen, you've regressed this generator quite a bit. Oh, great stealthing from Varsity. Not getting found there is actually ginormous. If Varsity gets found there, that would be so detrimental for Team Ominous, but Varsity not getting found there is huge. And there is the unhook, probably from Varsity himself. DC now taking the tag. Nothing else to use on this side of the map here, so this chase probably will not last long. However, we do have the main building window to use. But instead, we just want to hold forward, it looks like, to the one pallet. But there is no pallet here. And it looks like that call might not have been made. Otherwise, maybe DC would have halved a little bit to the window and tried to play his 50-50s at that window. But it looks like that'll be another down. As there is Varsity. It might be too little too late to tunnel out Varsity here. So, yeah, I think Slamma agrees with that. So, no, it looks like we're actually going over there to interrupt the reset. One portal will be used up, and optional DC will be coming in for a body blow. Great stuff here from Slamma. As Varsity continuing chase at the shack here. Now, you might just be able to make this window. Beautiful stuff from Slamma, reading Varsity's movements like a book, and that will be a tunnel out with one generator remaining. However, these generators being progressed slowly but surely. However, it looks like all the survivors are just going to be stealthing off now. Have to reset at this point if they want a chance at not getting 4K'd. Great stuff from Slamma, getting that tunnel out in an effective manner. Kicking the logs generator, wants to teleport over to the top side of the map here. Maybe if we can find a reset, that would be absolutely amazing for Slamma, and that's exactly what Slamma wants to do. Resets will happen here. And it looks like they will happen without interruption. So very, very good stuff from our survivors. Getting these resets is going to be vital if they want to be able to bring this game to to stop Slamma from getting any better result. Finding those resets would have made or broken the game. Continuing our patrol here is Slamma. Slamma is still not able to find any of our survivor players, but we are going to put a portal down onto the main building for a little bit of information. Still no one, so we've regressed the logs generator quite effectively, which is what you need, especially considering the entity has started to take hold onto that generator. You do definitely need to get a bit of control on it, make sure that it regresses as much as possible. And there is OC here. Unfortunately, we did find the reset onto OC. OC was trying to stealth out, waiting for the other two to reset and then wait for someone to come to him, but unfortunately, we will find it. You might continue chase onto OC here. No progression on that logs generator to speak of, but we do see this 3 generator being progressed by optional DC. Slamma now wants to try his best to get a tag here, force the survivors into a bad position. as there is OC. We want to prevent OC from getting reset here, so we want to try to get it down on her as quickly as possible. Slamma continuing to play this loop very, very effectively, but we have body blocks and check spots, so not much you can do about that. Slamma will be taking a tag onto Loop here. Meanwhile, optional DC continuing to progress that generator over at 3, and we're now actually wanting to take chase onto Loop here. Loop, unfortunately, not much left to use on this side of the map here. He will just be going down. That will mean that that generator over at 3 will get hit with Eruption. Optional DC was progressing, and the call was probably made to get off of it. No, it looks like Optional DC was working logs here. We're switching our positions a little bit. Very, very good stuff here from Optional DC. As now we are using our portal to get back over to the main building. Crawling away is Loop. Getting as far away as possible from that generator. And I believe Loop, I could be wrong, Loop might be our final pain res. And it looks like she actually is, because otherwise Slamma wouldn't be going vehemently for this hook. And that is pain resonance on that logs. Beautiful stuff from Slamma. Teleporting immediately over there. The call would have been made, and they're immediately rotating away from that generator. That generator progressed quite effectively. OC, the injured party, here at this 4 lane. But a beautiful flash is going to mean... Oh no, unfortunately, Slamma doesn't have eyes, but does have ears. Will just be going down, is OC. And another hook, probably by the logs, will happen as Loop and DC will probably be resetting. Yep, a reset on the hook will be happening. And that information will be made apparent to Slamma very quickly. Yep, we do actually know that now. We're sealing the portal, and we're teleporting back. So the survivors are going to be immediately leaving. And there is DC. And there is Loop. So we have information of all 3 of our survivors here wanting to use our shred to maybe zone away Loop from any resources, and we will be doing so very effectively. Loop taking the tag here. Optional DC going to be getting the pull onto OC. DC and OC live together in perfect harmony, apparently. Teleporting back to the logs generator. And there is DC. Getting this tag onto DC will actually be very, very good for Slamma. And we are able to do so. Beautiful stuff from Slamma using the shred very, very effectively. Heading over to the 10 side of the map here. One shred will unfortunately not mean a down for Slamma. Very, very sad stuff here for Slamma. But Team Ominous will be happy, quite happy about it. Looks like DC is just accepting the fact that he's probably dead here. Yeah, he's just going to accept the fact that he's going to try to play the Z-wall. Unfortunately, you are not Spitz, DC. And we're heading straight back over to the logs. A swing through it. Probably, you have to imagine probably to see if we can maybe just catch someone off guard here, but unfortunately no one is here. And that generator can no longer be progressed, so now Slamma needs to be very aggressive on these chases and make sure that these survivors are not able to make anything anymore. The OC going to be continuing to play around this shack. No bamboozle to speak of, sadly. OC will be going down here if she's not able to make this, and yeah, OC going to be going down. We want to make sure that they're not progressing the logs generator, which they are not, so we're going to be picking up OC, and I believe OC is Death Hook. Great stuff from Slamma, but this generator very, very close to popping and no way of progressing it will mean that Slamma needs to find this reset. Teleporting to the top of the map here, maybe on main building. Yes, nearer to main building, but the full reset will come through. Information on the survivors will happen if he looks to the left, but he looked to the right, sadly. And that will mean our survivors are going to be able to get back onto this logs generator. That is going to be really bad for Slamma if he doesn't go check it instantly, and Slamma instantly going to be heading back there. And there is Loop. DC and Loop are going to be playing back and forth ping pong with Slamma here to try to focus their attention on one of them so that they can progress logs. And you see exactly what that happening right here. You might actually see Optional DC go to work. Yeah, Optional DC is going to work another generator here. So just to apply a little bit of pressure away from Slamma. and force Slamma into a really uncomfortable position. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Now Slamma might actually be continuing to chase onto Loop here, but if this chase is going to happen, it needs to happen very, very quickly. His optional DC continuing to progress the generator over at 3 here. Loop playing the Shack here, needs to win this Shack, and does actually not do so, does do so with life. Very, very good stuff here from Loop. And that's going to force Slamma away. Continuing chase now, going back, realizing that DC is not on the logs. A zone away from the window will mean a tag onto Loop. Meanwhile, this generator 50% progressed. It looks like Loop is just going to be going down here. I don't think there's a way for Loop to possibly make this window. No, unfortunately, Loop is going to be going down here. A slug we're going to see very, very quickly. As now we need to head back to the logs here. We might be scared of it popping. Yeah, we are scared of it popping as we're heading over to the logs. But no one here to speak of. And that is good information as there is DC. This will be a 4K1. Final chase of the game, a tag onto optional DCs. We're heading over to the left side of the map here, trying to maybe make some sort of resource to prolong this chase as long as possible. But again, if we don't get the pick up onto Loop, this game is pretty much called for. Isn't quite able to get the down there. Now, you do have to imagine Loop is crawling somewhere where a bleed out is possible, because that is the only possible way that Loop is going to be able to prevent this result from being worse than it already is. However, we're actually just kind of sitting on the ground right next to the portal here, so if Slamma thinks to just look there again, it'll be a 4K1. As now we are teleporting back to the bottom of the map here. And we find Loop. That will be a 4K with 1 generator remaining. Very, very effective stuff here from Slamma. When we come back, we will have the final game of Ominous versus Demonic here. It'll be Ominous killing against Team Demonic. Stay tuned for that. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final, potentially at least, most likely, round of Ominous versus Demonic here. Varsity on the Demogorgon, Deco, Slamma, Juggernaut, and Astro Bit. Slightly different of a roster here for Team Demonic. As we're seeing a chase onto the top side of the map here, onto Deco. This TNL wall to play, but unfortunately Varsity or Deco will not be playing it correctly, as Deco is now forced to take the chase back to the bottom side of the map here. But I don't think Deco has much to play, and this is just going to be a very, very quick down. Unfortunate stuff here for Demonic. Deco having a very, very quick chase here. Very, very unfortunate. As Slamma seems, no, Slamma might have been tabbed out very, very briefly there. Not necessarily what you want to see, as Pain Resonance is going to be coming through here. Demonic might be a little bit locked out here. Now, they need to lock back in because a 4K1, while beatable, still not short of something that isn't going to be hard, especially considering that start is very, very good for Varsity. Varsity now wants to just patrol these generators, has a very, very good start here. Doesn't need to play too quickly here or too aggressively here. Can actually play super, super aggressive here. And the calm, oh no. Okay, we're seeing DCs happen here, so there might be some issue going on. When we come back, I will be addressing that, and hopefully we will have the final game for you all. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Entities Campfire. We are back here with Varsity Slamma, Deco, Astro, and Jug this time. Or, well, no, Deco was here as well. Yeah, again, same roster as last time. Bit of housekeeping to do. As soon as the match started, Deco, was fine, but was having, looks like major packet loss issues. The reason why a lot of those, downs and hits looked really scuffed is because, on our side and on the killer side, it looked normal, but Deco was literally lagging in place. I mean, it was, like, literally he was moving, and then the killer was teleporting everywhere for him. So the referee, took note of that, saw the clips, and has decided that a restart is valid. However, the builds are allowed to be changed here, as compensation to both our killer and survivor players. So no penalty will be induced because it was a right away DC, as well as the fact that there isn't much that anyone could have done there. This doesn't seem to be the fault of the killer nor the survivor, so no penalty will be induced here. But as repeated, builds are allowed to be changed. So we are officially going to get started here, back on the coal tower here. We are going to be seeing a tag onto Jug here. Beautiful stuff from Varsity, as Jug is going to be taking chase away from the top side of the map here and wants to try to get to the bottom as quickly as he possibly can. Lifing, it looks like, away as well to the shack here. So very, very good stuff from Jug, playing his resources very effectively. But Varsity now needs to be very, very careful, as those generators are going to be progressed. This God Rock here for Jug to play here, has to drop it immediately. God Rock now going to be used, has to try to make Shack. Pallet on this side will mean that Jug will last just a little bit longer here. Now has to play the Shack. Vaulting into the Shack will mean Bamboozle, so it looks like Jug is just going to now be going to the corner of the map here and accepting his death. Eruption on these generators as well will mean a little bit of gen control as we're picking up Jug and trying to take him to a Pain Resonance hook, but it looks like we will be getting this generator done in time. Yes, we will be getting this generator done in time. That is not a Pain Resonance, and it will mean that the middle generator will be popping, heading over to the main building. You have to imagine here, no, in fact, we are teleporting to the middle of the map here. This might have been a bit of a misclick from Varsity, as we wanted to teleport a little bit farther up the map here. This generator now going to be kicked with Eruption. Main building going to be done as well. And now we need to make sure Jug dies in a timely fashion. We have a 4-gen at the bottom of the map. Oh my goodness, this is not what you want to see if you're a Demonic fan. But, oh no, this is a 3-gen. I don't know why I thought it was a 4-gen, but we still have some generators at the top, so my bad. I thought there was a generator at 5, and I was going to say that that is a very effective spread for Varsity, but unfortunately, it is just a 3-gen. But this hook being in this 3-gen is actually very, very good here, because it means that Demonic will have a lot to play for in terms of getting this unhook, as well as stopping these generators from being a problem later on in the game. It looks like Varsity actually wants to play for the tide condition if we're playing into this. No, this is a 4-gen! No, it's not a 4-gen. What? Am I... chat, I might be a little bit cooked today, I'm not gonna lie. I will say, I woke up pretty early today, so... I woke up pretty much right before I was meant to cast, so a lot of my casting is a little bit scuffed right now, but we are seeing chase onto Deco in the Shack, and it looks like we will not be seeing a tag. Very good fake from Deco here. Jug will just be going second, so very, very good stuff here for Varsity. Varsity playing this 3-gen very, very effectively, and having this death with this 3-gen is going to mean that a tide condition is actually very, very possible. Bamboozle on the Shack will mean not a tag onto Deco, but it will mean thereafter, because what do you do if you're Deco right after that? And it's also going to be a trade here on to Jug. No forced hesitation, so it will actually not mean that any generator will be stopped. And that is actually a Pain Resonance hook. That's actually very interesting. As we are now continuing chase at the top of the map here. We want to rezone Jug to the bottom of the map here, as that is where the bulk of our progression actually is. This beautiful shred coming through by Varsity. Amazing, amazing stuff. Has to win these TNL walls, and will actually do so very effectively. We see Astro here coming in to take a body block here, making sure that Jug lasts as long as possible. Tag onto Astro will mean that Jug is able to make the top of the main building. However, after that, there isn't really much else for Jug to play here. Zoning away from the window, and here comes Astro to actually take it down for Jug, as Jug is now going to be able to make the inside of main building, and it looks like we are just accepting Astro as our sacrifice. Hooking on this pain resonance here at 3, making sure we have a little bit of gen control. These generators at the bottom are being progressed very, very quickly, and that actually is the highest prog. And as you can hear, it had a little bit of progress before being hit by pain resonance. So Team Demonic still effectively progressing these generators as fast as we possibly can here. And here is Deco. Deco now dropping that 4 lane, needs to try to check spot it but unfortunately losing that 50-50. Very, very unfortunate stuff here for Deco. Slug onto Deco will mean that Varsity is going to be heading back to the unhook as well. Jug still has not been found. That is our tunnel out, so we have to be very careful if you're Varsity. And there is Slamma. Slamma now taking chase onto Shaq. Nothing really here for Slamma to use here. Only has a window. Has to try to win this Shaq window, and will actually do so. Very, very effective stuff from Slamma going on top of the hill. You have to assume Slamma is the one with balanced landing here as he's jumping down, and that's going to force Varsity to teleport away to the top of the map here by the main building. And as we do see a pickup onto Deco, and there is Jug, our tunnel out survivor, the person we need if we want to make this tie condition possible, and even the win condition. Jug now has to play this car loop, unfortunately, and it will actually be a stun for Varsity. Very, very good stuff here as we are shredding through the main building. Very, very good stuff from Varsity. Now wants to get rid of these car pallets and whatnots here. Trying to find Jug is Varsity. That is our tunnel out. Remember, no, it looks like we're actually rotating back over to Deco. No, we're placing a portal and heading back to the bottom side of the map here. Forgive me. These players much, much better than I am, so they know a lot better than me when it comes to different strats, when it comes to the Demogorgon and whatnot, and you know, their game sense is just much better than mine. And there is Astro, and it looks like teleporting back here was the correct play, because we are able to effectively protect this 3-gen a little bit better here, as there is Slamma, the uninjured party. However, and Varsity is not interested in chasing that. If we can find Jug, that'll be very, very good for Varsity, is getting a tunnel onto him. Will need. That is a 3 survivor protocol. And there is, I believe, Jug. Unless that was Astro. Nope, that is Jug, and that is exactly the person you need to find here. Jug now taking chase at the right side, top side of the map here. The 2 generator, or the middle generator now is going to be popped. Orman tile now going to be played, needs to win some Orman 50-50s here, but it looks like Jug is now just going to be running around the wall. Very, very nice stuff. Needs to win that 50 again, and is actually able to just hold W straight to this TNL wall. Very good stuff here. Deco is now going to be taking a tag for Jug. Amazing stuff here. 1 generator remaining, and here is Jug continuing chase on this Orman tile. This 2 generator, very, 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 you know, not very highly progressed, forgive me. But Astro continuing to just progress the generator at the bottom here. Slamma now here to come take a tag for Jug here. And here comes Slamma, ready to take a body block hit. Oh, beautiful stuff, but it looks like... Yes, beautiful stuff here from Slamma. Slamma now taking a tag here for Jug. Astro still diligently working that generator. Varsity will now, unfortunately, be put into a very bad position here. If he doesn't get it down right now, it will mean Eruption will not apply, and that generator will pop. As Varsity has no choice but to leave now, and Adrenaline coming through. A 4K or 0 generators remaining. That is going to be a win for Team Demonic. All generators popping. Demonic takes Ominous versus Team Demonic. Thank you very much for coming. We will have Demonic back again later tonight for some more games. Stay tuned for that.